Welcome to Tales by D. Today we enter the mystical land of Obodo Ndu, a village once filled with laughter, rivers, and life, until the rains vanished. As the people begged the gods for mercy, the mighty eagle Ugo was chosen to carry the sacred jar of rain down to earth. But curiosity can turn blessings into danger. Sit back as we uncover the beginning of this powerful African folktale, the eagle and the jar of rain. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment to keep the stories flying. Long ago, when the earth still spoke softly and the gods listened closely, there was a peaceful village called Obodo Ndu, the land of life. It sat gently between two green hills, surrounded by tall palm trees and thick forests that whispered secrets to the wind. Obodo Ndu was blessed beyond measure. Its rivers flowed like silver snakes, its soil was dark and rich, and its people lived in laughter and song. Every morning, the cock crowed, the women sang at the stream, and children ran barefoot through the fields. The men tilled their land with pride, their hoes striking the earth in rhythm, chak, chak, chak. But one day the rhythm broke, the clouds disappeared, the rain forgot its path, the wind grew hot, dry, and angry. The rivers shrank until their beds cracked open like the skin of an old tortoise. The once green land of Obodo Ndu began to die. At first, the people thought it was just one bad season. They waited for the sky to darken. They waited for the first drop. But the clouds stayed empty. Month after month, the sun punished the land. Goats fainted by the roadside, children grew thin, their bellies swollen with hunger, the farmers' yams rotted in the ground. The stream called Mamiri Neka, once the pride of the village, dried completely, leaving only cracked stones and silence. Women wailed in the evening, their voices echoing through the hills. Chukwu, what have we done? Why have the gods turned away from us? The elders gathered under the great Udala tree, their faces covered in worry. Flies buzzed around them, the smell of dust filled the air. Old Ezudo, the oldest man in Obodo Ndu, raised his staff and said, "My people, something is wrong. The gods have withdrawn their mercy. We must seek their face. We must beg for forgiveness before this land becomes our grave." The villagers murmured in agreement. That night, the moon hid behind thick clouds. The air was heavy with fear and hunger. But the people gathered, men, women, and children, before the ancient shrine of Allah, the earth goddess, whose statue stood tall, covered in red clay and palm fronds. They brought offerings, kola nuts, white fowls, yam, and palm wine. They lit torches, and their flames danced against the darkness. The village priest, Nzi Agbaka, stepped forward, his body painted in white chalk, his staff decorated with feathers and cowries. He lifted his hands and cried, "O great Allah, mother of the earth! O mighty Chukwu, who commands the sky and the waters! Your children cry to you, look upon Obodo Ndu with mercy. Send us the blessing of rain before we perish." The crowd echoed his words. The sound of drums rose softly, thumping like a heart. Men beat their chests, women wept, children held onto their mothers' wrappers. Then the priest threw cowries into the fire and watched the flames twist and turn. The people waited in silence. Even the wind seemed to hold its breath. Suddenly, the fire turned blue, and the priest fell to his knees. His voice trembled as he spoke. "The gods have heard us, but their hearts are heavy. They say our pride and selfishness have angered them. They will test our patience, but they will also show mercy." Hope returned to the people. They clapped, sang, and danced with tired joy. But far above the clouds, where the gods dwelt in golden light, something powerful was already stirring. High in the sky realm, the god of rain, Chukwu Uzo Mmiri, sat on a throne of mist and lightning. Around him were spirits of the clouds, each holding bowls of silver water. He gazed upon the dry earth below and saw the suffering of Obodo Ndu. His heart softened. "They have suffered enough," he said, his voice like rolling thunder. "It is time to send the rain." But he knew the waters of heaven were too sacred to spill carelessly. They had to be delivered with care. And with obedience, he looked around his heavenly court and called out, "Who among you is brave enough to carry the jar of rain to the land of men?" Many spirits stepped back. The task was great and dangerous. Then, from the far end of the court, a golden shadow moved. It was Ugo, the proud and mighty eagle, whose feathers shone brighter than the sun. He bowed his head before the god. "My lord, I, Ugo the eagle, will go. My wings are strong, my heart is true." The god smiled. "So be it, Ugo. You shall take this sacred jar and deliver it to the people of Obodo Ndu. But hear me well, do not open it until you reach the earth. If you disobey, the rain will bring destruction instead of blessing." Ugo bowed deeply. "I will not fail you, my lord." And so the golden jar of rain was given to him, tied with heavenly rope and sealed with thunder. As he spread his wide wings and soared toward the earth, the spirits of the clouds watched him go, majestic, fearless, and full of purpose. The morning Ugo left the sky realm was unlike any other. The heavens glowed golden, and the air was filled with the songs of wind spirits. They clapped and sang, "Fly well, Ugo the brave, deliver the gift of life to the children of Obodo Ndu." The mighty eagle spread his great wings, each feather catching the light of dawn. The jar of rain, round and glowing softly, hung securely from his claws. Its surface shimmered with strange patterns, like ripples of water frozen in time. With a cry that echoed through the heavens, Ugo took flight. The journey was long. He soared past thick clouds, across mountains that pierced the sky, and over deserts that stretched endlessly below. The air grew thinner. The wind whispered secrets in his ears. For hours he flew in silence, determined and proud. But as the earth grew closer, something began to stir inside him. A small voice, soft but persistent, whispered, "Ugo, what do you think is inside that jar?" He ignored it. He remembered the god's words, "Do not open it until you reach the earth." But the voice returned, teasing him gently. "Surely the gods trust you. You are the strongest of all birds. Why would they hide such a thing from you? Just one little peek." Ugo flapped his wings harder, trying to drown the thought, but the jar pulsed with light, glowing brighter with each flap. The temptation became stronger. He looked down. The land of Obodo Ndu was still far away. His curiosity began to burn. "What harm can a little look do?" he thought. "Just a glance, and I will close it again." And so, halfway between heaven and earth, Ugo slowed down. He hovered in the air, his feathers glistening. He looked left, then right. No spirit followed him. With trembling claws, he loosened the rope around the jar and lifted the lid, just a little. The moment he did, a blinding flash of light burst from the jar. "Ah!" he cried, pulling back. But it was too late. A roaring wind exploded out, tearing through the clouds. Water gushed from the jar like 1,000 waterfalls, fierce and wild. It poured down toward the earth with the sound of 1,000 drums. Thunder rolled. Lightning cracked the sky open. Below, in Obodo Ndu, people looked up in shock. "Rain! Rain has come!" they shouted. "The gods have answered us." Women threw their wrappers in the air, children danced, and the men ran to the fields, raising their hands to the heavens. At first it was joy, pure joy. The dry earth drank greedily. The rivers filled. The air smelled fresh again. But soon the joy turned to fear. The rain did not stop. It grew heavier and heavier. The sky darkened as if night had fallen in the middle of the day. The wind howled like an angry spirit. Trees bent and snapped. The ground began to shake. "Chineke, what is happening?" a woman screamed as the water rushed through the village square. In minutes, the huts were flooded. Yam barns collapsed. The sacred shrine of Allah, the same place where they prayed, fell under the raging water. Men tried to save their goats and chickens, but the current was too strong. Children cried as their mothers clung to them. The sound of thunder swallowed their voices. From the sky, Ugo watched in horror. "No, what have I done?" he shouted as the rain raged below. He flapped his wings desperately, trying to fight the storm. His feathers were soaked, his body trembling. He tried to close the jar, but the water was too strong. It roared and twisted, blinding him. He spun wildly, struggling against the storm he had unleashed. "Forgive me, my lord," he cried to the heavens. "Forgive me, I did not mean it." Lightning struck close by. The thunder answered with fury. It was as if the sky gods themselves were shouting back, "You have disobeyed. You have brought destruction upon the land." Ugo pushed against the wind with all his strength. His wings burned with pain. The jar slipped from his claws, spinning wildly, but he caught it again before it fell. Summoning every ounce of strength left in him, he forced the lid shut. The rain stopped, just like that. The silence that followed was terrifying. The clouds broke apart slowly. The sun, pale and weak, returned below. The land of Obodo Ndu lay in ruin. Water covered the farmlands, huts were swept away, and the once great shrine was gone. Only a few survivors huddled on high ground, shivering and staring at the destruction. Ugo hovered above the clouds, panting. His feathers were heavy, his heart was heavier. "What have I done?" he whispered, his voice breaking. "I was sent to save them, but I brought ruin." He looked toward the heavens, but the gates of the sky realm were closed. No light shone from above. The gods were silent. Ugo trembled. "I cannot return. I have failed the gods. I have failed the people. I am doomed." So he flew, far away. He searched for a place to hide, somewhere the gods' eyes would not reach. He flew over deserts, over mountains, and deep into the heart of the forest. There, in a lonely cave on the highest cliff, he made his home. Days turned to weeks. The air cleared, the floodwaters slowly withdrew, and life in Obodo Ndu began to stir again. The people buried their dead, rebuilt their homes, and planted new crops. But though the land healed, fear remained in their hearts. Whenever clouds began to gather, they remembered that dreadful storm. They would whisper to one another. And somewhere high in the mountains, Ugo, the once proud eagle, watched from afar. Hidden in shame and sorrow, he no longer sang to the sky. He no longer soared freely through the clouds. Each time thunder rumbled, his heart beat fast. He would retreat deep into his cave, trembling, afraid that the gods would remember his disobedience and strike him down. And so began a new habit among all eagles. Whenever the rainy season approached, they disappeared. They hid, silent and unseen, waiting for the storm to pass. The flood had passed, but Obodo Ndu was forever changed. Thank you so much for staying till the end of my videos. Your support keeps me going, and I'm truly grateful. Please remember to like, share, and drop a comment. It really means a lot. And don't forget to explore my page for more interesting and inspiring videos. Thank you. I appreciate you all.